This podcast is brought to you by San Diego County Toyota Dealers. We've got what it takes. Fix Auto, Corky's Pest Control.
Hey sports fans, Christian Pedersen, Chris Smith, the rest of the gang will be joining us in a moment. It is time for the Open Division semifinals. Ooh, it just feels good that we get to see the big boys come out and finally duke it out for a spot in that championship game. Cathedral Mission Hills, Helix, RB. We're going to break them both down. Tommy's got a guest in studio to help him. Montel's going to be here. Let's just get to the games.
Let's do it.
First one, Cathedral, Mission Hills. Tommy, who are you with, and how do you guys see it?
Thanks, guys. I'm joined by wide receiver extraordinaire Mozes Mooney. Moses, thank you so much for coming in, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Does it make you feel uncomfortable sitting this close to a La Jolla Country Day alum?
No, it's all right.
It doesn't feel a little weird? No? Okay. I'm wearing blue, too. Just make it. No, it's still okay. We're good. First game we got Cathedral Mission Hills. What do you think?
I think Mission Hills is a really talented team. Quarterback Jack Tuttle, running back Sam Dixon, D lineman Isaac Anderson. Solid football team, but I think Cathedral just has too much. I mean, when you have two members of PPBC on one football team, like stuff gets out of hand. Jordan Marquise and Jack Thompson, I think they're gonna handle business.
Yeah, as a member of the PH4 club, right? I can attest that it's very difficult to match up with them in a football game. It's difficult stuff. I'm going to go with Cathedral as well. I've had Cathedral as my number one team all season. I'm not going to stop doing that. They're so deep. They can beat you in so many different ways. And Mission Hills is a great team, but I've got Cathedral just as I have all season. Guys, back to you.
Mission Hills versus Cathedral Catholic. Wow. I didn't think we'd be even speaking on this. Congratulations, Mission Hills, for getting to this point. Big win over Grossmont last week. They played excellent. The running back Dixon and everybody, the whole team played very, very well. But, you know, they're going against Cathedral, the number one team in the county, one of the top teams in the state. It's going to be very, very hard to beat them. Tate Hayes is playing great ball right now. Jordan Jimmark, we know, is playing great. The whole team, you know, Jack Thompson over there, that receiver, Antonio Lee, playing great ball. They just got an all-around team that's ready to rock and roll and lead themselves all the way into the finals. I think they're going to be a little bit too much up front for Mission Hills to do anything. And that's on the offensive side. I think they'll be able to push Mission Hills' defense around a little bit. And then on the defensive front, Jack Tuttle's going to have to be pinpoint precise in order to keep his team just in the game. Not only just to win it, but to keep them in the game. I'm going to go ahead and go with Cathedral for the win. I think Mission Hills will play strong and they'll fight a good battle, but it'll be a losing battle with this one. I think Cathedral's going to go to the Open Finals.
Okay. The people want to know, Chris.
Well, first,
how are you seeing this
before
one?
I get started, I want to give a shout out to. Did you see that kid's watch? Bruh, that's bling. Good job, Moses. Now back to the game. What do you get when you add the Swedish black guy, the son of a Hall of Fame cornerback at your quarterback, a tight end bound for Boston College, a sensational sophomore running back, and a pair of monster wide receivers?
I'm going to assume a win.
I'm going to say an Open Division team built to win championships. Of course, I'm talking about Sean Doyle's Dons. This is an easy pick for me. I'm taking the Dons to face another team in the finals, but I'm taking Cathedral in this one.
You know, I'm going to have to agree with you. Normally, this is where I would spice things up and pick something against Cathedral. I was wrong picking against Torrey Pines, and I got to stop picking against Cathedral. It's not an offense against Mission Hills. This one will be just as close, I think, as the Mission Hills Grossmont game. I think that Mission Hills will surprise a lot of people by playing a game that is going to come down to who has the ball last. I just think that Cathedral is going to have that little extra bit in the tank. Let's keep moving on, though, because the other game deserves some attention. Helix, Rancho Bernardo. Either of these games could be the final, and we'd be happy with it. But they're the semifinals, and that's the world we live in. Tommy, break it down for us.
Helix, Rancho Bernardo, what do we think?
I'm going to go with Helix on this one. I think Rancho Bernardo is definitely a talented team with running back Milan Grice, quarterback Mark Salazar, and then Christian Baker. Helix just has too much defensively. Zeke, Jonathan Millsap, Scotty, Evan, Rashad Scott. I think just overall just way too talented.
Helix is great. Rancho Bernardo is great. RB hasn't lost in so long, I think they literally forgot how to lose. I think they don't know how to lose anymore. So I'm going to go with Rancho Bernardo on this one. They will continue that winning streak. It will be a very, very good game, but I think the Broncos will take this one. Guys, back to you.
Helix versus RB is one of those games that everyone is looking forward to, including myself. This is going to be one of those drag 'em out games, I think. I'd like to look at both teams kind of from a different standpoint because this is the game that I had a very, very hard time choosing. Let's look at Helix's strengths. I think Helix is actually, one of the better defenses in the county. It's going to be the best defense RB has faced thus far and the fastest thus far. So I think it's going to cause a lot of problems sometimes on RB on what they want to do. And on the offensive side, Helix hasn't been very, very good. This is kind of the downfall for them. They've been very stagnant on offense. It's not a consistent flow. I think it's because all of their players are collective. Their players play a lot of minutes, a lot of both ways, and they just don't execute on offense as great or as good as they could or they should, and especially in big games. Last week they didn't, they looked not very good on offense, only putting up 14 points against Valhalla. I know they had some big plays called back, but still it wasn't a very consistent flow with them. They weren't able to do things. I know Coach Bussy over there, Valhalla, put together a pretty good game plan to show some expose some things on Helix where they think people can take advantage of. On the flip side with RB, they have a great offense. Melon Grice, Ross Turner over there, receiver, the junior phenom, I think that's coming up. I believe they got, Mark Salazar, actually, great quarterback. They have a lot of good things going over there at RB, and they have a great offensive line. On the defense, their defense is pretty good over there. It's by committee. Everybody rallies the ball, makes a lot of good plays. RB is very, very good on defense. Not the best, but they're very, very good. I think the key player to this one game, if we're looking at one player on both sides, who's the key, I think it is Blake De La Rosa on the Helix side. He can make some things happen. I think him being on the defensive line, being a defensive tackle, I think if he can control the double team, I think if he can put pressure on Salazar by himself without them blitzing the linebackers, I think he'll make this a very interesting game, especially because of the take. RB's strength, which is their offense, going against Helix's strength, which is their defense. If he can control that offensive line to be a dominant force on that line as a defensive lineman, the game can go either way. But if he can't, and RB's figured out a way to do that, I think RB can go ahead and might be able to pull this game on out. I think Milan Grice, is going to have to be able to be on this P's and Q's. I think Salazar is going to have to do some great things. My biggest concern is Helix's offense. Can they put enough points up on the board to be able to match what RB is going to do? And as of right now, they haven't been able to do that. They've been very, very difficult for them to score unless it's been a big play. And let's be perfectly honest, it's been a big play by Scotty Young. He has to do something very dynamic on offense in order to get them going and get those guys rolling. So if it hasn't been a big play by Scotty Young, they really, they're very stagnant on defense, on offense, I should say, or if it's a big run by Zeke Noah or a freshman Noah. So this game was difficult for me to choose. I mean, Helix, my heart goes with Helix, my head's going with RB. I like it's the game's being played at Helix, so it's going to be that 12th man is going to be involved. But this is going to be a difficult game, I think, for Helix to win, strictly by the fact that their offense has just struggle. And I'm going to, out of this game, the way I'm picking this game and who I'm picking to win, I'm going to go by their last body of work. Helix versus Valhalla did not look very, very good, offensively. Defense was sharp on point as usual. Offensively, they struggled. They struggled to move the ball. They had a hard time moving the ball up and down the field, or at least putting it in the end zone. Where Valhalla is a decent team, I know that, but Helix wasn't really moving the ball that well. Let's flip on the other side. RB played against a beat-up Oceanside team, but they took care of business. They did what they were supposed to do. This game, I'm going to pick to win. I'm going to pick RB to win, basically based on the body of work. I mean, my Helix friends over there, I know they're going to be mad at me, and I can live with that. But based on who's playing better ball as of right now, as of the last time I've seen them, it's RB is playing better ball than Helix. Not to say they have a better team than Helix, but they're playing better ball right now. So I'm going to go with them for the win. And if I'm wrong, it's okay. I'll see you guys in the finals, in the open finals. And I'm sure all will be forgiven. But for my Helix friends, sorry about that. I'm going to pick against you on this one. My heart, like I said, I'm torn, my head and my heart. I don't know which one to go with, but I'm going to have to go with RB.
RB Helix, where are you going on this one? This North County, East County, this is a big game. This is a bragging rights game.
This is not going to be a cakewalk for either one of these teams. Helix's defense is ferocious. The offense for the Broncos is explosive and is balanced.
Nice choice of words.
But I'm leaning toward big game experience in this one, so I'm going to have to go with Scotty Young and Zeke Noah in this one. Helix wins in a close game and advance to face Cathedrals in a rematch in the finals.
What kind of big game experience do you think that a team that has a state championship doesn't have? Rancho Bernardo, baby. Broncos. They're going to win this one. I don't even have anything else to say. You want to give some shout outs before we get out of here?
I'm good.
Tommy and company, you guys want to share something with the world?
All right, anything you want to shout out, people you want to mention before we get out of here?
Yep, shout out to PPBC.
That's our crew, right?
Yeah, that's our crew.
I mean, I started, but so kind of a big deal that we are friends like that. You know, just little text group that we have going on too. It's super fun. I'm gonna shout out the P8.
You got it.
P86.
Yeah.
P86C. Shouting them out. That's my crew, guys. Back to you.
Okay, well, whatever that was, they seem like they're having fun. Got any big plans for Thanksgiving? What's your favorite side dish?
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes?
Yeah, love me some sweet potatoes.
Save me a little something. I'll save you some of my mac and cheese. We'll make some sandwiches
Hey,
together
but it's
for our
gotta
next
be-
podcast.
Man, but see, look, if you're gonna give me mac and cheese, I don't want that stuff in the blue box. I want the 4 cheese mac and cheese
Homemade. Then we put a little stuffing on top when we bake it. Oh, it's what's up. It'll go nicely in our turkey sandwiches we're gonna have with our next podcast.
all week long.
And our next podcast, folks, will be for the finals.
Finals, baby. We talking about finals.
What are we talking about? Finals.
And not the kind where you in math class where you don't want
You
to
don't have to study for these finals. You just got to show up.
No, you got to study for these finals.
I know.
And you better be ready.
I obviously don't. Look at my game picks. And on that self-embarrassing note, we are going to send you guys back out to TV Land. Thank you very much for checking in with us. For Chris, Montel, Tommy, and everyone at San Diego Prep Insider, thank you very much for tuning in with us this season, and we will see you guys for the finals next week.
All right, Helix Rancho Bernardo. What do we think?
I'm gonna go with Helix on.
You good?
That was the most awkward pick we've ever done, dude.
That's all right.
What? That was so bad.
I mean, we know what it is. But all right.
On a legal basis.
All right, cool.
The SDPI legal department's just being a
I know, I'm like,
All right, going back.
who's Tony?
Tommy.
Oh, I thought you said Tommy.
Tommy?
I said Tommy.
Hey, Tommy!
Hey, Tommy.
What can I say, man? Growing up in Brooklyn, I just got that thick accent.
You went to La Jolla High School.
Exactly.